Hey, Shalom everyone, I'm going to continue this fantastic series, friends, of the daily page of the Daf Yomi with a beautiful Pirkei Avot roundabout right behind me over here. And what a better place to share over some words with regards to the daily Daf. Those who cannot be trusted, that's what we're talking about in today's page inside the Gemara. Now, among the people, let's say, who are nishpa v'notel, who can take an oath affirming the veracity of their claim and collect, are plaintiffs, as we've spoken about before, whose adversities in court are people who are suspect and cannot take an oath themselves. Thus, in cases where the defendant would ordinarily have been obligated to take an oath and free himself from payment, if the defendant, let's say, for example, is a gambler, and I've spoken about this before, I think in Masechet Sanhedrin on page 24, if I'm like a dice player, or mafriya yonim, people who make birds, let's say, fly, which once again we spoke about, he cannot. Similarly, if he is someone who markets produce from the sabbatical year, the plaintiff will take an oath in court and collect. Okay, now the Gemara, as we spoke about in Sanhedrin, actually it was page 25, we did a video on it, I remember, in the Shahid Tzedek Hospital, offers two explanations for Mafriya Yonim. What is this? People who make birds fly. So what are these explanations? One approach is to explain that, let's say, it is a pigeon racing. The other approach suggests that it is ara, that is, let's say, training a pigeon, this will be, to entice other birds to follow it. Now, the great commentator with the name the Ran, he is going to explain over here that these two reasons are dependent on how we define the underlying problem, let's just say, with gambling over here, because we speak about very harshly with regards about gambling. The Mishnah actually teaches that Masechet Shevuot, someone that plays with a dice, let's say for example this lottery, is disqualified from testifying in a court. Now Rami Bar Hama taught that the problem with, let's say, a dice player is of an asmachta, when, let's say, especially with regards to, let's say, gambling. You know, we've spoken about how bad gambling is. Let's say either side thinks that he will lose, which will lead to a situation where the winner takes the loser's money against his will, which is also a problem over here. It's a form of theft. It is possible over here that in different types of betting, players recognize different levels of possibility that they might lose. That is definitely true. The Mishnah therefore needs to mention different types of gambling separately. Now Rav Sheshet, on the other hand, taught that the problem with a dice player is that ein osek shel olam, that someone who makes his living by gambling is not involved in communal activities. That's another problem over here. So pigeon activities and playing with the pigeons, how much a waste of time that actually is. Like the practice of ara, where a hunter, let's just say, trains his animals, entice others to return with it, would be permissible in settings where the animal brings wild animals back to his owners. However, for other purposes, let's just say, just for enjoyable, it could be other problems within regards to it. So this in page number 47, Masechet Shevuot.